The following may contain language that is not appropriate for all audiences. You know, small children, people that are easily offended, whatnot. Hi, everyone. Thank you for finding us here on the Low Effect podcast. I kind of wish that we actually did have
a following.
Well, I'm sure we do. It must be grand. No, I kind of wish that we were like a news type organization, so we could actually have stuff to talk about all the time. But if we were a news type organization, we'd have to do this every day,
and we'd have to research shit.
Yeah,
wouldn't we?
Well, yeah.
I mean, you can't be a news organization and not research shit.
Oh, I don't know. Look at all the news organizations going on now. That's part of the five.
You think they don't research stuff?
I think they do, and they don't.
They do and they don't. This is everything you've said today. You're like, yes,
I'm very wishy-washy.
Do and don't.
Well, no, I think they do research stuff, but I also think that they lie.
They lie about their research?
No, they lie. They purposefully editorialize in a certain direction by not putting in all the.
Oh, they definitely do that.
You know, they'll take statements out of context. They'll say statements that are blatantly false.
And you think they all do that?
Yeah, the ones that most people consume.
I think some are worse than others.
I don't know about that.
Really? See, I don't. I'm just like, no.
Look, 5 companies own them all. Everything that we watch for entertainment or information, almost everything, is owned by 5 companies. That should scare the hell out of everybody. In fact, there are people that are in the tent that work for those 5 companies that talk about how there are 5 companies, right? Mm-hmm. So that's how they're ooh, look how we're being.
Sometimes they get cut too, though. If they actually talk about that stuff, then they're gone. I've
never noticed that.
Yeah,
but that's because I don't watch any of that stuff. Well, I don't watch it religiously.
I watch it more than you.
Well, I'm trying to be honest, and I do watch. I watch local news. I watch national stuff, and I listen to public radio, which was once called American Pravda by a friend of mine. I don't know if he's the one that coined it or not.
That's funny.
It is funny.
It's funny that you listen to NPR because I actually just said it, but
that's public radio.
I used to listen to them a lot more than I do now. I don't really listen to NPR anymore.
Well, I've increased the sources of my information because I get that side of the coin. Then I get the other side of the coin, which, the quote-unquote conservative side of the coin. And I think that's all owned by the same 5 companies anyway, too, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think they might all be, all those stations.
Right. So everybody, all the information, whatever side you claim to be on, is owned by the same bunch.
I know at least one of the ones I listen to is owned by they probably all are.
And then there are the independent folks that have their Patreon accounts or whatever and get money from pay-per-view, I guess, or they get supported by their listeners. Mm-hmm. Listen to them and look at them too, and it's actually kind of entertaining because I think about the good thing is I consume less entertainment while I do this, and so. When I look and watch all those sources, I think it takes about 2 hours a day, and it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to go through and look through all those sources.
This is on your computer, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, what else am I using my computer for?
You don't listen to shit on your phone.
Porn. Of course, it's on my computer. What else?
But you don't listen to stuff on your phone.
I don't. And this is my tinfoil hat moment, quite honestly, folks. I don't like to do anything on my phone. In fact, if I could, I wouldn't carry it around with me.
If people saw your phone, they would laugh too.
Well, people do laugh. They think that my phone is essentially a brick now. I mean,
for those of you who don't know, Dave has a phone called the BlackBerry Passport, which actually looks pretty cool, but whenever people see it, they're like, "What is that?"
Yeah, it wasn't particularly popular when it was available.
It's a great phone. I mean, call quality wise, it's a great phone.
Used to be, but let's stop giving BlackBerry free plugs. But no, maybe we should, because there's a company actually taking over the license, the BlackBerry manufacturer's license. So they're going to start making BlackBerry phones again.
Good, because the BlackBerry phone is the call quality on the BlackBerry is incredible.
Are you getting secret money that you're not sharing with me or something?
No, I'm just stating a fact.
Okay.
I'm not trying to get a deal or anything. But if you're listening, BlackBerry, just kidding.
Or whatever company in Texas it is that got the license. So yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of fun to try and figure out what's going on, and I'm not saying that I've figured it out. I'm far from it. I don't think I have. I mean, because there are all kinds, right? There are people that believe in super theories.
You mean super conspiracy theories?
Just super duper theories, about certain groups controlling everything, and then. But my favorite is the whole description of, and this kind of, I guess this is a long way to get into the topic, but how a lot of people think that the era, the times now, can just be called clown world.
Yeah,
and I can't remember if someone told me this or I read it or somehow this idea got planted somewhere, and it was that our world is what it looks like. The things that are going on in the world, in the United States, wherever, our world is what it looks like when truth doesn't matter. And,
that's clown world?
Well, no, I'm just talking about a descriptor. Clown world is something different. Well, clown world can be, right? I mean, it's just everything's ass backwards.
Right.
And I'm just sitting there going, that whoever said or thought that could be onto something. And the funny thing is I could have been the one who thought that, and I just don't know that I thought it.
Whoa.
Which happens, because I look at all these news sources all the time, or all these sources for information.
Did you come up with the expression infotainment?
No, that was told to me. And when I asked the person that told it to me, he said, no, I saw it somewhere else.
So nobody knows, Rick. It's funny, it's like things just come up.
And because of how quickly information travels nowadays, things just kind of come up almost instantaneously.
I think it's too, I don't know how you do that. How you look at all that stuff and are jumping around and absorbing any of that stuff.
Are you talking about me in particular, or are you just...
Yeah, you in particular. Well, and people in general.
Who claim to do that, or who actually do that, or...
Yeah, if you're just looking at a little bit of stuff here, a little bit of stuff there, and looking at freaking 30 news sources and just all this information coming at you, how can you be retaining any of that shit?
Well, the cool thing is...
You don't have to?
It's only 4 or 5 pieces of information.
Just packaged...
differently, 40 different ways.
So you do absorb it then? Yeah,
because it's information that our brains can all handle. It's only 5 pieces of information.
I don't understand. What the fuck are you talking about? It's only 5 pieces of information.
It's okay. So if we're talking about cars, right?
Yes.
It's only 5 cars.
Oh, this is the whole...
Everything else is what color car? Do you want this kind of wheel or that kind of wheel? Do you want AM, FM stereo? Or do you want CD player? Do you want sunroof?
Even with the independent folks?
Yeah. Yeah,
so they're talking about the same stuff that the other guys are talking about?
Yes, and this is this...
Well, that means they're not independent.
Well, no, no. They are independent, but everybody's just talking about the same stuff.
Which is what I want to do on this podcast, talk about the same stuff everybody else is talking about.
It's like the whole idea in negotiations, people are like, oh, you got to be the one to draft the contract, because then other people will sit there and just go on with it. I never did that. If I didn't like the contract, I'm like, yeah, here.
Here's a different one.
Yeah, I haven't done this, but I want to. For anybody who's a lawyer out there, if you really want to crawl up into somebody's kitchen and they give you a contract, why don't you give them a red line that's a totally different form?
That's brilliant.
Well, I don't know if it's brilliant, but I think somebody would be like, what the hell? For all those people who sit there and think you control everything if you start the first draft. Well, do you really?
No. Not if they're like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, but how many people are going to do that? People always just kind of add onto the basic form.
I've done so many red lines on a draft that I've ended up like redrafting the whole thing, which is like crazy.
Yes, you're truly a rebel.
I know. I am. It's true. So, but does any of this shit help you?
What do you mean?
The stuff you're looking at, does it inform you?
I get it. I get the same information that everybody else gets, number one.
So, is that any good, though?
Sure, and it's also an exercise in trying not to be manipulated. Trying to not be angry. Because I do think that the whole purpose of the news cycle these days is to anger you. And it doesn't matter which point of view you have, it's to make you angry. And if the whole point of information is to make you angry, then something's up. Right? Shouldn't the whole point of information to be for you to be informed? If I'm a purveyor of information, I should want you to be informed.
Mm-hmm.
But if everyone sits there and talks about how the information always makes them angry, doesn't matter which side of the fence you sit on or what perspective you have. I've heard it from everybody. You know, whether they be hard left, mid right, hard right, whatever. You know, whatever your spectrum is. Almost to a person, people are angry from the information being sent to them. And I'm just sitting there going, then that's what it's supposed to do. If it's supposed to make you angry, then why?
I don't know.
That's like sitting there going to that's like not questioning why going to a certain restaurant gives you food poisoning.
No.
Or even something that's not that extreme. Let's say you go to a certain restaurant, every time you go there, you just get massive case of
diarrhea.
Or just gastrointestinal distress.
Right. I would call that food poisoning, but...
Well, food poisoning is a little bit more severe than that. But let's just say every time you go to a certain restaurant, you get some stomach pains and you have to really go.
Yes. Sounds like every restaurant I go to.
Well, then you've just got superior bowels. But isn't the purpose of going to get food at a restaurant to get sustenance, to be sustained, to eat and be whatever?
Yeah.
So that's the point. That's the point I take about news, right?
That's what news is supposed to be.
It's supposed to inform you, and you go, But if it makes you mad, and if it makes everyone you know, even the people you dislike, mad,
yeah,
then something's up.
Yeah.
Why is it all making you mad? There's a reason that you are supposed to be mad. And when you figure that out, it might be because there are people that there are all kinds of theories, right? There are theories that I think one of the big theories out right now is right now in history there's a big divide in income inequality, and and I'm just like, well, that's just been the situation all throughout time. We just had a situation for like 30, 40 years where there wasn't that much income inequality among the people. So, or there was less, or seemed to be less. But, people are talking about how there's more and more and more going on. There are people that are just getting richer and richer and richer now, and people that are getting poorer and poorer and poorer. And then they're sitting there going, wouldn't it be great if you were all too pissed off about something to realize that you're losing money? Or someone else is making tons of money at your expense while you're not? Oh. So, that's a theory. It could be true, but I'm just like, well, yeah. But I kind of sit there and go, maybe you're not being particularly truthful because this is being purveyed by someone who works for one of the 5 companies.
Yep.
And who makes buku bucks.
Yep.
So I'm just like, well, yeah, but if you're the one telling me that, then why should I believe you?
You shouldn't.
Well, that's actually a stupid answer because the question is more important, right? And that's the situation nowadays. It's more important to question. The question is, why do we have to be so angry? Who's benefiting from the fact that every one of us dumbass sheep and goats and pigs are so angry?
Yeah.
Now, like I said, I'm not very smart, so I don't know the answer to any of those things, but I think the answers to those questions are worthwhile pursuing. And when I said that's a stupid answer to your answer, it's only because a lot of your answers are stupid answers. But beyond that, it's because, You don't need to just have a knee-jerk answer like you do.
I specialize in knee-jerk answers.
Well, maybe you should specialize in knee-jerk questions. Well, anyway, I guess that's all of our time.
It is.
Ugh, good, because I ran out of stuff to talk about.
We won't be here all night. Good night.
Thank you.